About a week ago, I picked up the Surface Pro 8. I bought it with my own money and I went for the i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 256 gig M.2 half-size storage. My primary use cases were to replace my iPad and eventually my MacBook Pro so that I could do music production, video editing, and create the thumbnails for my YouTube channel. Today, I want to focus in on music production. Can this thing handle full-scale Ableton music production with third-party plugins, iZotope mastering, Neutron mixing, all that good stuff? Is it equipped to handle this? Let's find out. A quick overview of the hardware and software I'll be using. First up, the Novation Launch Key Mini Mark III, my personal favorite MIDI controller for Ableton, my Zoom H1 Handycam recorder, a 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable, a USB-B to USB-A cable, a USB-A to USB-C cable, like so, the Shure 540s, best headphones I've ever used, and the brain of this whole operation, the Surface Pro 8. Next step is to just see what it can handle. To be clear, I don't own every plugin in the world, and I really am just going to test this for my workflow, but we are going to try the extreme version of my workflow. I'm hopeful we'll be pleasantly surprised by what this thing can do. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so first things first, we're gonna get rid of these audio tracks. Let's load up something a little more, just 11% CPU there. So let's try something heavier. Try Pigments on track 3. Do Massive X on track 4, Abyss Keys, track 5, At My track 6, we will then duplicate all of these. Alright, cool. And we'll start writing some MIDI. So Absinthe doesn't have a sound chosen yet, so let's see what we got. Electric organ. I hate that actually. Let's just do like a pad. Absinthe. No. Yeah, I can live with that. Sequence. Yeah, let's try that. We do hear the fan, I think, but the CPU is good. And there's a little bit of visual glitching on Massive X, but nothing that would be a deal breaker to me. This one says arpeggiate me, so we will. Let's throw some reverb on this. Let's replace this one with a contact plugin. Oh, we'll replace DX7 then. And we'll put DrumLab on here. It's my favorite, one of my favorite drum plugins. And again, we're only at 28 really CPU. Now, Pigments has its own reverb, but let's throw a round one there too. Still at 29. Let's do a CMI right here. Add choral to this. Let's see what we got in packs. Branded beef kit. There were some crackles. Alright, go to drums. Okay, so that's like a lot of layers of plugins. This is a realistic amount of plugins. For what I would do, let's double it. See what happens. I'm going to give it the benefit of stopping playing while I do this, but I'm just curious. It is going to be louder, so we might want to brace for that. Okay, we seem to have choked it a little bit. But here we go. There's on 20 tracks. Okay, so we're at 48, 46. And I'm not hearing like crackles. And I didn't mention this earlier, but this is just the ASIO for all driver. It's a free driver. You should know. I mean, it's pretty easy to find how to get it, but this is just ASIO, and it should be running at 1 millisecond offset with 256 samples. So a little bit of latency, but it's really not bad, in my opinion. So that's doubling, right? I'm going to undo that if it'll let me. Undo change track level, undo duplicate tracks. There we go. This is more realistic, but let's throw ozone on here, right? From Isotope. And we definitely are hearing the fan, that's for sure. If I was actually going to master something, I would export an audio track, like I'd finish the mix, and then I would export the audio track into a file, and then I would master that file. But let's see if you could master while, composing, essentially. And I'm going to be very basic and just let it do the master assistant. Crackling is normal while it's doing this. Let's say we're at 40, 41. The fan's going, don't get me wrong, but like, outside of adding some audio tracks, which I could do and I might do, this is a really realistic, like, workflow. It is loud. It's definitely loud, I'll give you that, but again, I wouldn't necessarily record my vocals with all this stuff going like this, and I wouldn't have ozone on when I'm doing that either. But overall, I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say this thing is powerful. For me, this is basically what I need. Yes, it is loud though. It is loud. Much louder than a MacBook Pro of recent years because those are essentially silent. So that's something. But yeah, I'm really impressed by this. This isn't maybe the hardest I could push it, so let's double it up again and leave ozone on and see how it handles that. So again, this is taking 10 tracks with live MIDI playing through multiple plugins and then just duplicating them. This is nuts. This shouldn't work. Again, this is so much more than I would normally do, and like so many third-party plugins and stuff. This isn't all of my plugins right now because I still have just the 256 gig drive in here. I have a 1 terabyte on the way. I'm going to swap it out, and then I'll be able to install everything I want. But this is still a lot of what I use. Yeah, I mean, the noise. Sure, the noise is real. I think that's a problem, but I think you could get around it. I think it's workable. One, I would probably freeze my tracks and record audio if I needed to. Command A, freeze tracks. Okay, nice. Turn off ozone. Actually, if I turn off ozone, it's gonna spike, I think, is the limiter. Okay, yeah, with ozone off, we're looking at 4, 5, CPU. I think if you loaded a project like this, after you let it cool down a bit, you could probably record vocals and the fan noise would be a lot lower. I actually haven't really heard the fan noise get this loud until I tried this test, and this is really pushing it. I'm sure you could do more. So, yeah, actually, let's see what happens if you did that. I'm gonna select everything, unfreeze everything. I'm going to double it again and see if we can make this bad boy actually grind to a halt. So this will be 40 tracks, a set of 10 repeated 4 times, playing the same data but through additional sound generators, VSTs, etc. Okay. Oh, not responding. Oh, we hiccuped, and now navigation was a little clunky for a second. We're not playing anything, so go back to master, turn ozone back on, and see what happens. That's very loud and sounds bad. Oh, there we go. Okay. There you go. We went over 100. That's with ozone on, 40 VST tracks running simultaneously of like many different complexities of VST. Let's turn ozone off and see if it can handle that. That's very loud. No. Okay. There you go. Okay, so that's hitting a limit, but I'm going to be clear, like, that's so much more than I need and what I would do. Let's see how much we have to remove to get it to be okay. Alright, I'm going to just delete these 3 and I have a feeling we'll be okay around 30. Yep. It's higher than I would want to be, don't get me wrong. And if you threw ozone on, that would be bad. But again, ozone, you would want to master a encoded file, not like a mix that was finalized as a lossless file and then mastered separately. That's how I do it, even when I had like the 16-inch MacBook Pro. But yeah, this is pretty sick, in my opinion, and I'm really digging it. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed, and catch me next time as I continue my adventures with music production and technology. Alright, hope you have a great week ahead. Bye.